Good afternoon, everyone. Very happy to have you and best wishes for this new year. Today, we will be going through your questions, the questions that you would want to have answers on and that are related to the open call for innovations that for the MENA region for the water and energy for food. We will start by giving you some logistics information, then we will go through a few slides as a refresher for what the program is about, and then we will deep dive in your questions. Now, the speakers for today will be Nicolas Farhat, MENA Regional Innovation Hub Manager from Beritech, Dr. Ahmed Hussein, the Technical Assistance Manager from Chemonix Egypt, myself, Tina Al-Bustani, the Deputy Regional Innovation Hub Manager from Beritech also, and our host for today, Hannah Wuzel, our Communication and Knowledge Management Manager for the Hub, also from CWAS. Now, few logistics information. For all the questions, we will answer all questions that we've received already through emails. And if you have new questions at the end of the presentation, please, or during the presentation, please write them in the chat. You can write them in English, in French, in Arabic, no problem. We will answer them, but we will only answer questions that you already have or written in the chat. Arabic interpretation is available, and you can also, so you have to join the Arabic channel via the interpretation channel, and all the recording of this session will be available at the website of the WE4F, we4f.org/apply dashboard MENA. On the same site, you will find the final Q&A answers sheet from today. Today, we will give you tentative answers. Okay, the final ones will be in the formal document, which will be uploaded on the site within 2 to 3 days from this date. So please always bear in mind that all our answers we will be giving you today are tentative ones, and then the final ones will be published in a couple of days on our website. Now we'll move to a small reminder of what the project is about, the program is about, and who is eventually behind it as donors and as implementers. As you already know, most probably, Water Energy for Food, we call it WE4F, is a joint international initiative of several donors. The German Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development, the European Union, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Government of the Netherlands, the Norwegian Agency for Development Cooperation, NORAD, the Swedish International Development Cooperation Agency, SIDA, and the US Agency for International Development, USAID. You can see all their logos at the bottom of the slide, and 6 donors. And these are the donors who are funding the program. When it comes to the implementing partners, we have 4 implementing partners. We have Beritech, CWAS, Chemonix Egypt, and IOMI. So 4 different partners in charge of different activities within the program and coordinating all together. And all together, these implementing partners have a very good footprint in the region and a very good understanding and track record of supporting innovations and entrepreneurs in the region. So we've been supporting entrepreneurs from MENA since 1992. For some of us, we have like 5,000 entrepreneurs supported in MENA, more than 150 growth stage water and energy for food companies that we've supported. So a lot of expertise that we have already and that we will be eventually the grantees and the awardees of this program will be benefiting from. The WE4F MENA is covering 10 countries: Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, Sudan and Egypt, Yemen, Lebanon, Iraq, Jordan, and West Bank, Gaza. We have currently, so far, several innovators that we have been helping and supporting and helping them scale the innovation and improve their impact, their environmental and social impact. And we have all different types of innovators in what we call the water, energy, food nexus. We have people doing organic farming, promoting the contract farming to allow penetration of organic farming, using, we have producers of compost and biofertilizers. We have solar energy providers of solar energy for water pumping. We have digital and precision agriculture. And you can see all the list of all our innovators. You can see it at the site, at the internet site, we4f.org/innovators. It's at the bottom of the slide. And then you can visit the site and learn more. And I would advise you to go there and learn more because it will help you a lot in completing your application. You would see what other people have been doing. And the link they have been showing to the water and energy food nexus. Next, Hannah. Now I will give the floor to Dr. Ahmed Hussein, our Technical Assistance Manager from Chemonix Egypt, who will take you through this slide.
Thank you very much, Tina, and thank you everyone for joining us today. So basically, I'll just run you briefly through what is considered eligible type of businesses or activities that we are willing to work with and support. To sum it up, like very briefly, it should be any business that is helping in the production of food, in farming and agriculture, through making this more energy efficient or water efficient, or making it rely more on renewable energy. This normally covers a wide set of activities along the value chain, really starting from the farm itself. If you are producing compost or some input to the farm that leads to better production of food with less energy and or water, then you are eligible. If it's along the transportation and the logistics, or even in the factories or distribution, activities that tend to decrease food loss or generate produce that otherwise would be wasted, is also eligible. You can see them summarized into these categories, but I would like you to really remember this big picture. If your service or product is leading to improved production of food or agriculture or farming or logistics in the food value chain with less water and or energy or reliance on water, treated water use or renewable energy, then you're eligible. So basically, it's a wide set of applications. The key point here is that your activity can be directly related to such savings or impacts. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ahmed. So this is a summary of the type of innovators we support. So basically, we're here to support mid to late stage enterprises. So companies with proven track record, they should be registered. Yes, companies with some, as I said, track record. They could be NGOs or educational institutions whenever they have what we call a for-profit arm. It means that they have an innovation that is market-oriented and financially sustainable. They are selling something and using the proceeds for their funding, and not only relying on grants and external funding. So this is the first criteria. The second criteria is recurring sales, because they should have already customers and proven attraction, as we said. they should have a valid technology or service and proven business model. Now, technology doesn't mean like something that was never used before. It could be something that is available out there, but you're just making it more accessible to users and to including smallholder farmers or some vulnerable community, making more accessible to a bigger range of people, and proven business model. It could be a bundle of products that is actually having a good impact on the water and energy efficiency in the food value chain, a specific service. And when we talk about a proven business model, it's the way you eventually are reaching to your customer, the distribution channel, and the value proposition you are having. Now, this business model of yours, this product should have a high potential to scale, and to increase. You should be able to increase quite quickly your customer base from 1,000 or few hundreds to few thousands eventually, and even hundreds of thousands of people and end users. Now, depending, of course, on the cost and on the cost, yes, of the innovation itself. Of course, here the numbers can vary, but this is basically the criteria. This is from a business point of view, because as you know, the very specific thing about water and energy for food, it's not to help you only grow as a business, and it's not only to help doing some charity work on impact, it's both. It's embedding impact into your business model and supporting these embedded impactful embedded ESG impactful business models. So the other set of criteria are impact criteria. You should, of course, be able to produce more food with less energy and water, and to help improve the income, the livelihood, and access to food for youth and women. And you should have a positive effect on climate, environment, and biodiversity, climate mitigation, and adaptation. Climate mitigation is when you eventually help reduce the greenhouse emissions, yes, by moving maybe to renewable energy or to have less use of energy. Adaptation is to, for instance, use efficient irrigation methods because of lack of water, because of climate change. So these are basically the criteria: business criteria and impact criteria. Very well. Now I'll give back the floor to Dr. Ahmad, who will take you through the process of application, this open call for innovations that we are having.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Tina. So basically, this is just like a quick review on the application process. I would say it goes into three stages. We prefer to call it like a co-creation process, because we really think of you as future partners once you join the program, and we would like to have this collaborative sense of the project. In the beginning, this is the phase where we are currently in. You see it as the two circles on the left. Basically, this is a basic open application on rolling basis. You can submit your application at any time. We will be reviewing the batch of applications very soon. So we encourage you to really make sure you put this initial application or initial expression of interest, as we call it, or we call it the concept note, as soon as possible. We will be reviewing the cases in the coming 10 days. And then if you are eligible, you get to the, let's say, full proposal stage. In the concept note, it is simply we are getting to know the outlines of your company or organization, as well as your innovation and its general impact. we are mainly focusing on assessing if you are eligible or not based on the criteria that was previously discussed, whether it is being established in the market or the innovation being eligible to water, energy, food. We look at both. Then we will inform you that you have moved to the next stage. In the next stage, you get to submit, let's say, a more complex proposal, which is quite detailed. We look at financials, we look at your plans of expansion, and based on the assessment, you would move to an interview stage. So once the second stage is completed, we move to a stage called pre-award. And in this pre-award, we work closely with you to refine your proposal, agree on milestones, on the grant dispersal steps, the technical assistance you will be needing, and most importantly, develop with you what we refer to as a detailed growth plan or an acceleration plan or transformational work plan, which is basically the blueprint through which you will be working in the coming year. Once this is done, you sign the agreement, you join the program, and you start to benefit from both the financial assistance in the form of grant, but also more importantly, the technical assistance, the networking, and different types of support. So now we are in the first stage. We would like you to submit ASAP within the next 10 days. We will review all the applications and get back to you and hope that you can move in the coming steps of the process. Next slide. So just to summarize, we are now in the concept note stage. This is where you can submit your application. This is where we want you to go now online, submit the concept note. If you become eligible and you are screened and passed to the full proposal stage, then you will receive a special application link where you can put in the full proposal. To summarize, my colleague has just posted in the chat box the link through which you can submit the concept note. This is what is available now. Within the coming 10 days, we will screen the applications, and if you are eligible and you proceed to the full proposal stage, you will receive clear instruction from us on next steps and then move to admission. Next. Okay, so how do you access the resources and the links? If you can go on our website, the Water Energy for Food website, you will find a link to Open Call for Innovation. That's what you want to apply for. This is where you have actually registered for the Q&A webinar. You will find a link to apply immediately. You can look at the call for application. This is basically the third line in the box to the left. This really has like complete details of what we are looking at. Eligibility, how to fill the application properly, how to make sure you score well, and how to make sure you increase your chances or improve your chances into getting into the program. So to the left, when you go to apply now, this is where you submit your application. The line below it is where you will find information on the call for application. You can do that in Arabic. So to the box to the right, you will find this is where you apply if you want to submit your application in Arabic. And this is the details of the program and eligibility and how you can improve your chances of meeting the criteria in an Arabic version if you wish to have more information about it. Next. Okay, you would like to know more about our terms and conditions, understand what we are looking for, what impact we are looking for, how do we score the applications and how we assess them, how we choose successful applicants. You will find a lot more details in the solicitation documents, as you can see on the website. Generally, we are looking at a mix of possible or strong business potential. So it means you really have, we are not looking for unicorns, but really companies that can grow steadily and effectively from a market perspective, but at the same time, having a positive impact on water and or energy when it comes to agriculture, food logistics, or food submission. We also care a lot that your business includes what we refer to as environmental, social, and governance, ESG. The term might be familiar to you. So we want to make sure that your business include best environmental practices. We many times find in the application people making the mistake by saying, like, if I'm a good business in the sustainability or climate, then for sure I am environmentally compliant. That's not true. So for example, if I'm doing composting or doing waste, organic waste recycling into compost, if my business through the waste or the byproduct in a way that does not meet best environmental practice, I am doing unintentional negative impact on the environment. Same for social. Sometimes if I set my factory maybe is producing green products that serve water, energy for food. But if the factory is disturbing the community or having negative impact on the community, then it is not socially compliant. Governance, we wish to see a company with the basis for a strong governance, proper leadership, team structure, and so on. We don't expect it to be perfect. In the questions, if we don't mind if you have a deficiency in these topics, as long as you have a clear idea or a plan of how to manage it. We also care about the concept of the base of the pyramid. We want to see more of your impact going to base of the pyramid, meaning marginalized groups or more disadvantaged groups economically. Also, women and youth. This is also something very important for us. Please read this very well. I am sure all of you are good businesses, but we need to see this to ensure that you will be successful and your sustainable growth will be positive from social and environmental aspect. Next slide. Now we will move to the Q&A, basically trying to address some of the questions you have previously submitted on the website, or you can submit now immediately in the chat box. Hannah?
Yes. So like Dr. Ahmad said, please write your questions in the chat box. Please don't unmute yourselves. The reason is that this makes it a little bit easier for us to track everything that you're asking, because as we said, whatever we say today is not legally binding. It will only be legally binding once we amend the Q&A sheet that you can already find on the website with the approved answers. So please, if you have any questions in English or in Arabic or in French, just drop them into the chat and we're going to address them today. So the first question that we received is, would it be possible to submit a proposal of an agricultural project to our organization? This project combines research, training, and production. It satisfies every prerequisite for admission to your program.
Yes, generally, this sounds good. Of course, we are not really interested in the research and the training part unless that's part of production and commercial activities. So what we need to see is not like a development project. What we need to see is a project that can generate revenues. So you need to have customers. You can still be nonprofit, you can still do it in an NGO perspective, but we want you to be sustainable from a financial and a commercial perspective. So generally, the part that makes this eligible is production. And this production has to be financially sustainable. That we are not focusing on supporting research, nor training, or general activities that improve water, energy for food, but does not generate commercial revenues and is sustainable commercially on its own. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. The second question that we received is from somebody who would like to establish a beer factory in Kurdistan region. And they're asking, they have tried many times to start this project, but couldn't because of lack of practical knowledge, and particularly want to focus on supporting women workers in the field, which is cereal technology.
Well, I think generally this might be a good business, but actually for us, like when we look at eligibility, we want to see an existing business, because part of the eligibility is demonstrating that you have impacted customers and end users already. So a new idea is not eligible for this program. We need to see an organization that already has commercial operations and has already met the targets specified in the application for end users. And in that sense, this will be challenging. The other part is that basically when we look at water energy for food, it is for food. So basically it is for nutrition. It is for consuming products that are considered within food products. So I don't think beer is eligible within that sense. We also look at improving production from energy efficiency or water efficiency. So general factories in food and beverage that we don't support unless they can demonstrate that in their process there is proper saving in food and, in water and or energy or reduction of waste or something of that sort. Thank you.
Okay, Tina, could you help me with the next question, please? My Arabic isn't that perfect yet.
Okay. Can I have access to it? I just lost the access to it. Can you please just send it to me again?
I sent it in the chat here, Tina, to you directly.
Okay,
Sorry about that.
wonderful. Okay, wonderful.
Did you receive it?
Yes, it's opening. Just one.
Perfect, thank you.
One moment.
We can continue with the next English question and then we can come back to the Arabic ones. So in the meantime,
I got
yes.
the Arabic one. So basically,
okay, perfect.
Yeah, it says, thank you, Tina. It says, do you offer the grant and the support to companies that have innovated locally produced food manufacturing lines that is powered by renewable energy and is selling it to farmers and so on. So technically speaking, this would be eligible. Why? It is not because of the local part. Of course, the local part has very good social impact, but it is because of the renewable energy part. So if you are mentioning that you have a technology that helps in food production that is solar powered, then it is eligible as long as it is already proven and it has the commercial track record, not just like a concept. Thank you. Hannah?
Perfect. There's another Arabic question right after Dr. Ahmed, if you want to take that one as well.
Okay, do you want me to read the ones that were already submitted earlier? نحن وكالة بنفلس لشراء وتسويق المحاصيل الزراعية والمخصبات الزراعية والبذور وأنظمة الري في الجمهورية اليمنية. أرجو منكم تزويدي بالطريقة للاشتراك في برنامج WE4F للمبتكرين ورجال الأعمال. أوكي. مثل ما قلنا، مثل ما شرحنا، لازم يعني تقدم على الموقع الإلكتروني تبع البرنامج اللي هو we4f.org/apply-mina، ورح نبعث لك إياه هلا على تشات. السيد من اليمن اللي عم بيسأل كيف بده يقدر يتقدم بالطلب للبرنامج. فهلا بنرجع بنبعته. هنا if you could please put the link to the application again in the chat box.
Already done.
That would be nice. Great. I think we have another question in Arabic. تحية طيبة، ممكن أن أشارك بالمسابقة كشخص مبتكر وليس. Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. Let's go through the ones that we received per email first, and then we will come to the ones that are in the chat.
Yes, I am.
Okay, perfect. Great.
ممكن أن أشارك بمسابقة كشخص مبتكر وليس لديه منظمة، ومشروعي الوحيد بالعراق وهو مشاركة سكك والحديد بنقل الغاز بالقطار، علما أن الأسطول معطل منذ 25 سنة بسبب تحوير فيه، ومستعد لذلك لدعم الطاقة وزيادة المخزون الاستراتيجي للغاز.
Yeah, Tina, I can take this one. Take this one. So the question is asking, it has two sides. One, someone like from Iraq is asking if we can, it's an innovation, it seems to be an invention that is going to support logistics for gas production. And that improves the energy security and sustainability of Iraq. Of course, this project could have like a positive climatic impact, but there are two issues here that does not make it eligible based on the question. First of all, it is still seems to be an invention or an idea that is not commercialized. So although this is very important, and there are other programs that are much needed and do support that, but our program is looking for already established ideas or like commercially proven ideas. The second part, although it saves energy and water, in our case, this has to be tied to farming, food logistics, or food production. So if it's a desalination project that is going to supply tourism, then it's not eligible. It's of course good for climate adaptation, but it's not eligible. Our innovation has to be addressing food production, farming, or food logistics, or anything around food. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Let's move to the next one. What was the average grant amount disbursed to companies in the previous CFIs? So as you may know, we already had 2 regional call for innovations that ran in 2020 and 2021 respectively. So is there any information about the average grant amount?
We cannot give you like a statistical average, but actually the range of grants go anywhere from 50K to 200K, 220, 225. So we have a big range. And this range is really the amount of grant that gets awarded is based on multiple aspects. First of all, when you move to the second stage, you will be able to request specific amount. We need to see that this amount is important for the business. You can match it because there is a matching fund. And we need to see that how it is going to be spent in terms of impact, but also the size of the organization and the impact it is trying to do. So it is really not a prize or a gift. This program is very different. We really see that the technical assistance and the grant you are receiving, it's almost for us like an investment. We don't take equity, but we look for the impact. So you provide us with the impact in change of this investment. So basically, the value itself is not about how good the organization is. Like it doesn't translate to that one-on-one. Of course, the organization has to be good, but sometimes if the company is small, its matching capacity is small, but really very good company, then it will get a smaller grant. So the range is wide. It is not really a gift or a prize on how well you score. Of course, it's very important to score well to get that grant. It improves your chances of getting a bigger grant. But the core part is matching and your capacity to demonstrate that this money will be translated into impact. I hope this satisfies you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ahmed. Next
I
question.
would add, yes,
sorry, Tina, go ahead.
If you would
please.
allow me, I would just add also that we have a matching fund. So your ability to secure a matching fund equal to the grant amount is also will play also a role. So your ability so as Dr. Ahmed, the number of end users you can reach, your ability, the magnitude of your scale up is very important, but also your ability to secure a matching fund that is funds of other than the grants equal at least to the amount of the grant. It could be loans, it could be injections from shareholders, it could be different stuff, but this will play also a role. Thank you.
Great. I think our next question is related to that. So we have a question, is it necessary to secure the entire matching fund amount before signing the grant agreement?
It's not it's not a necessity, but it is important before signing the grant, even at the application level, to identify the sources of the matching fund that you will be getting. You need to know where you will be getting them from. Will it be a grant? Will it be a loan? Will it be an injection of the shareholders, a loan from the shareholders, reinvested profit? You need to be able to, money you will be able to raise, you will need to identify with some level of security, of commitment and security. And then whenever we are going to disburse the milestone or the payment, the grant payment, you need to have secured, not only got the commitment, but secured the matching fund at least equal to the payment of the grant that we are releasing.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Continuing on the matching funds, can a funding promise be considered sufficient for the one-on-one criteria? In other words, can a company receive a grant from WE4F if the matching fund is in the form of a promise of funding rather than the actual direct investment from the company?
Well, it's a very question that is to some extent similar to the previous one. If it is a promise that you at the stage of the application prior to signing the grant agreement, it's okay, a promise. But then when we want to release the payment, it has to be more than a promise. It has to be implemented, at least up to the level of the payment we are doing.
Thank you, Tina. The next question is whether there are any restrictions on fund transfers to Tunisian and/or Algerian companies.
We as WE for Dr. Ahmad, do you want to take this one?
No, please go ahead, Tina.
We, the WE4F, does not have any restrictions as a program in transferring money to Tunisia or Algeria. We can transfer the money in dollars or in local currency, provided that this is possible. This needs to be also checked with our bank. Now, if there are restrictions locally in Algeria and Tunisia for bank transfers, this is a different story, and we will need to look into that.
Yes, and our transfer is done in dollars, but some countries, I know Tunisia also, like some countries could have a restriction for you to be able to get these dollars in dollars. So if there are any restrictions that says that you must liquidate this or take it from the account in the local currency, this is outside our hand, and the local rules apply. As a program, as Tina said, we don't have restrictions on transferring grants to any of the countries that are part of the application. Thank you.
Thank you so much to both of you. Next question, can salaries be included in the financed activities?
Yes. It can. Salaries can be funded by the grant.
Perfect. Next.
Yes. It could fund new people to be on board, to be hired, or people on board if they are working on the activity supported by WE.
Tina, this is very good, but I'll take a moment to explain also like the philosophy. So as Tina said, basically, this could be anyway the salaries that you will be paying in the same time. So it is really, we are not looking for you like to get like an exact amount of some like money and put it for us in an account and we call it a matching. Of course, you will have to provide the proper evidence for these spending. But why do we have it if it is so diverse and simple? Because we simply do not want a company that is not going to spend at least as much as the grant. We don't want a company where this grant is really more than what they are injecting in the company themselves. So this is a very important point to understand that concept of the matching. It is not really for us to prove that you are committed to your business or not. It is really to ensure that we are supporting the companies with the right volume of operations that we are looking for. Thank you.
Perfect. The next question is whether it is possible to apply with a new startup, meaning a new business with an MVP, so minimum viable product.
Unfortunately not. If this startup is applying in partnership with an existing organization, or it is a spin-off of a mother company or an earlier company, then it can apply. The point here, I'm trying to explain as much as possible of how we think about it, is that our eligibility needs an already proven track record of serving the customers and end users. So unfortunately, if this startup is like an idea stage that has not served clients or customers, meaning reached a certain volume of sales, it will not be eligible. I think other programs would support it, but unfortunately not for this program.
Thank you, Ahmed. The next question is, can the project include buying an equipment that is known, for example, to replace existing equipment to save 30% water and 20% on energy? This equipment is innovative in the MENA region.
As long as this will be part of food production, that is accepted, but this has to be going into a food production or into farming. So for instance, if I'm buying an efficient motor to put it in a textile factory or like a water treatment unit in a textile factory, that doesn't apply. So if this technology is going to save water and or energy, but applied in the food production value chain, then it is eligible. The business is eligible.
The next question is whether there's a prerequisite of
Hannah?
Sorry, yes,
Hannah,
please, go ahead.
sorry to interrupt. Just to complement what Dr. Hussein had just said, and also to clarify, if a company or an organization is already saving water and energy in their food processing or production, of course, we would welcome that they upgrade or add a new equipment that can lead to additional savings. But if a company is not generating any saving and through our support or our grant, they are planning to purchase this equipment, then this is not.
Thank you so much, Nicola. Perfect. So next question is there a prerequisite of numbers of members in the startup, mainly in the management team?
No, there is no prerequisite for that. The part of the scoring is on governance and team. So if the team is very small or does not have the skills or the expertise, you might score less, but this is not part of the eligibility. The eligibility part, like related to numbers, is mainly about the commercial performance and the number of customers and end users served. Thank you.
If I may also add, Dr. Ahmed mentioned the governance, yes, in ESG. The G stands for governance. So the ability to have separate functions or at least identified responsibilities by function, even if the team is very small, and the ability to provide controls over transactions is important. Even if the team is very small, that's not the issue.
Thank you so much. Tina, could I ask you to read the question in line 14 in our sheet, please?
Yes. هل تقدمون in our sheet? Okay, not in the okay, one moment then. Line 14. Okay. هل تقدمون المنحة للشركات التي ابتكرت خطوط إنتاج محلية بالطاقة الشمسية لإنتاج الحبوب وتسويقها والبذور وأغراضها للمزارعين؟ خطوط إنتاج محلية بالطاقة الشمسية. So again, so the question is, do we support companies who are eventually using solar energy in their production line to produce farming cereals, grains, and also seeds. So the question, the answer is again. The solar energy alone is not enough of a criteria, but if the whole approach is helping the end users or producing a product that is making savings in energy and water compared to other substitute products or compared to what is available elsewhere, or making a special impact on the end users from a livelihood perspective, then it is, I think, eligible. I don't know if Dr. Ahmed and Nicola want to make any comments on this one.
It is right. Like, I think the question is about selling production lines for food processing and grain management that is solar powered. So if this product you are giving to the farmers, selling to the farmers, is solar powered, and going to help them manage their crop better or produce food with less emissions, then it is eligible. But it has to be commercial, sold too, not just like given as a grant or something.
Yes, if the product is the production line working on solar energy, if you're selling production line working on solar energy, you're already selling them, that's a saving, that's a eligible product. But if it's only applying solar energy on already on a one production line within one plant, then it has to abide by the other criteria I have said regarding the product itself, the output product and impact.
Wonderful. Thank you. I think that's clear. We have one question from somebody who applied through the link from the previous week. Is it enough or should we apply again? So I am wondering that does this person mean that they applied for the Iraq Call for Innovations? Because we had a webinar for the Iraq Call for Innovations last week. So this is also running in parallel. So perhaps just to clarify, we have two current Call for Innovations. This webinar is about the Open Call for Innovations, which we're going to put the link in the chat in a second. And then we also have the Iraq Call for Innovations, which is a separate call, a separate budget, a separate grant amount. But this is also currently open until the 7th of January. And maybe then it would be interesting to know if companies that are working in Iraq could technically apply to both Call for Innovations. So Tina, maybe do you want to answer this?
If a company, so the question is, can you please repeat the question? If a company from Iraq can apply to both?
Yes.
Calls? This is a question? Yeah. Well, a company from Iraq could apply for both, provided it applies for different activities that are eligible, not for the same.
Yeah, and I think it will not be awarded in both. So you can apply for both, but at one point you'll have just to choose if you are eligible and you are going to be awarded. You will have to choose one.
Thank you. I think that clarifies it. Now we have somebody who's keeping us on our toes with a series of questions. The first one being, is the matching fund mandatory? The matching fund should be from another fund grant, or can it be from revenue?
The matching fund is mandatory. At least it should be 100% of the grant amount, so equal to the grant amount at least, if not more. It can be from another grant, yes, and it can be from the revenue, yes.
Thank you, Tina. Second question, what is considered as co-funding, such as operational costs, etc.?
What is considered as co-funding? I'm not sure what he means by this question, but I guess he means the matching fund. My understanding is that maybe in kind, I mean, the matching fund can cover any activity that is related and any cost related to the activity we are covering under WE4F. Okay, so any activity, any cost related to the activity funded by WE4F can be covered by the matching fund. It could be operational cost, etc. Yes.
I think this is also the clarifying question in the next part of this question. What scope does the funding cover? Machines, operations, salaries, etc.
It could cover all of these, provided they have a direct link to the activity we are covering.
Next question is
there might be some limitations on machines. I think if the value exceeds $5,000, it required a special approval. That's why our preference is to cover operational costs, mainly salary, rents, among others. And through the matching requirements, we recommend for potential applicants to cover everything related to machinery, equipment, or CapEx.
Yes, what I meant by funding is the co-funding. Yes, so it's the co-funding can be covering machines, operation salaries. The grant itself is mainly towards salaries and operational cost. Equipment funding is limited to $5,000 except exceptional approval. So.
Thank you so much. And what is the timeline to this project? When will it start and when will it end?
Well, I can give you roughly. So basically, in the open call for application, we plan to do the screening and moving to the second phase, which is the full proposal by end of Jan, Feb. If you are making it to the full process by end of April, May, you will sign the grant agreement and join the program. And then you will be supported for a year from then, meeting your targets and achieving your growth. What is more important is to immediately and ASAP fill your concept note as the program is coming towards its end. So basically it ends mid-2025, and basically the open call will not be open for eternity. So please try to submit the concept note ASAP. It's not very easy, by the way. Like if you compare it to like the people running this program work in the region for years, I believe this is one of the most elaborate applications, and it is really looking for supporting, and it has supported really some of the bigger startups or in mid to late stage. So it's looking for serious organization with track record, with ambitious targets. So please try to fill it ASAP. It is not an application that you will fill well in a day, I would say.
That's great advice. Thank you. How much is allocated for technical support and what does it include?
Okay, so for technical support, basically, the grant is like we don't deduct technical assistance from the grant. So the grant you get, the technical assistance is on top of it, and it is really of a big value. How much and how much you get out of it is really dependent on you. Most companies that come in get at least what one technical assistance project tends to be 2 to 3 months of support. Basically, you can get more. In previous rounds, we have seen companies taking 4 and 5 incidences, others only taking 1 or 2, and you get more based on your performance and commitment. The topics are really very diverse. They cover business aspects, technical aspects, finance, so investment readiness, financial management, cash flow management, strategic planning, marketing, technology design, training, capacity building, market studies, business modeling, supply chain, quality control, quality assurance. It's really covers UX, UI, support, technical for platforms, and so on. So it really covers all the topics that you can imagine that you need for you to grow. The topics are assessed with you and determined in the pre-award period. So basically, inshallah, if you are selected starting May, June, immediately you can start. We also have other forms of technical assistance, which we call it ad hoc or like tier 0, which is basically support in networking, quick studies, quick assessments, advisory from the hub staff. So it's a very, in my point of view, fruitful package, and it is really in dollar value, it's actually quite high. It does not deduct from your grant. It's on top of your grant. Thank you.
Thank you so much. In
Just
the application, sure.
Yes, just want to add that really to emphasize on what Dr. Ahmed said, that this is this combination of technical assistance and grant is very specific, and the big added value of water and energy for food to offer both. So we really believe in technical assistance impact on your scale up. Thank you.
Thank you, Tina. Thank you, Ahmed. In the application, there are some unclear questions. What do you mean by Nexus focus area, type of transaction, and what are the documents needed?
Okay, so Nexus focus area, I think basically Nexus refers to the nexus or the interconnection of water, energy, and food. So we simply meant what type of connection do you have with water, energy, and food. What we mean is that we need to see that you are supporting water reuse, water loss reduction, efficient water utilization in agriculture or food production, or energy reduction or energy efficiency or renewable energy in agriculture, food logistics, or food production. So this nexus is really just the term for the connection between water, energy, and food. What are the documents needed? Like I'm not sure of how to address it, but in some parts of the application, you are required to submit like supporting documents. I cannot really list them now, but I advise you to follow the application. Type of transaction, I'm not sure also which part you refer to, but this could be financial transaction or relation that you have with the customer or end user, whether it's B2C or B2B or B2B2C. Thank you. If this question was not like enough, please email us like a detailed description of the specific points.
Can you hear me? Oh, sorry about that. If you require further details about this, please just add it into the chat and we can go into a little bit more detail. Also, the same person is asking, the concept note and the open call for innovations are the same. I checked them. I'm not 100% sure what is meant by this. So if you would...
I think the open call for innovation for us is like the whole process. Like the first part of it is the concept note. So basically now, since you are in the concept note phase, you will only find an application for the concept note. So our open call for innovation at this moment is that you submit the concept note. Later on, you will get the full proposal and the full details and so on.
Great. I hope this answers it. If not, let us know in the chat and we will come back to you. So the next question is, could the concept note only provide information about the company, including our overall activities and projects, not a specified description of our intended project, or should we refer to a specific project at this stage?
This is an extremely important question. And we don't want, not every company is necessarily starting a new initiative for this application. So we don't necessarily need to see a whole new business line or a whole new initiative. So if you are already, if your company is already eligible and serving the water, energy for food nexus, then your project, you don't need to have a specific project, but what you need to have is how do you plan to grow your company, grow your business, and how this grant and technical assistance would grow your business. So we don't need you to see, if you are already serving the water, energy for food, you don't need to add a new business line or a new thing. We could simply, your application would then be to support you to grow, but you need to tell us what will happen differently. So you have been growing organically. How do you plan to grow further, and how this grant will help you to grow? So in that sense, your project submitted is to grow your existing operations. And that doesn't, by the way, have to be through technology or assets, right? Like we don't want you to necessarily install a new production line or expand your factory or whatever. It could simply be your growth in the business model, in how you will market, in how you will interact with suppliers. So this is a very important question. When do we need to see a new initiative? If you are serving the nexus, if you are serving the food and agriculture, but now your business lines are not doing something entirely related to the nexus, then we need to see a specific initiative or an intervention that will make that happen. So basically, no worries. If your business is already addressing the nexus, you don't need to come up with a new idea. Your application is then about how to grow it. I hope this answers the question.
Thank you so much. The next question is from a startup that is 1 year old. They have their product ready to be sold and they're implementing it now in one farm in Egypt. So they're wondering if at this point they are eligible to bid or participate in the call.
We will have to look at the numbers, but we need to see numbers of end users and minimum number met. So for smaller technologies, we need to see that you have met more than 1,000 end users. For bigger technologies, the cutoff can be smaller. So end users and customers are clearly explained in the application. I don't want to give an answer, but my guess is one client on one farm might not be eligible.
Thank you. The next question is, we are aiming to install new autoclaves for food manufacturing, where we reduce the consumption of energy and hot water. Is this eligible?
Well, basically, we need to look at the numbers, but we need to see a detailed plan of how you plan to become more efficient in your business in general, not just in installing one piece of equipment. So for the previous question of the small, like the one farm, and this question, I advise you to apply, but we will have to scrutinize the efficiency, the eligibility.
Thank you, Ahmed. Yes, generally we cannot speak exactly on whether you're eligible here as you are today in this call. So if you're in doubt, but you feel like there's a lot of parameters that fit, take the risk or fill out the concept note anyway, and then we will know more. Okay, next question. Are there specifics or description of the matching fund from our side? Could it be in kind? Also, could bank loans or other grants cover the matching fund?
I guess I leave this to Tina.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ahmed. Well, bank loans and other grants are accepted. In kind, it is also accepted, and usually it's in kind that is also being offered by a third party. Like if you've been given a grant that is in kind by someone else, or someone else is putting something for free at your disposal for you to use, that also could be used. Yes, in kind does qualify. Bank loans, other grants do qualify. Reinvested profit do qualify. Capital injections do qualify. It's quite broad.
Fantastic. Tina, could I also ask you to read the question in line 22, please?
Okay, 2022, that's another thing. One moment. So 2022. كيف يمكننا الحصول على المساعدة في التقدم للمنحة لأن هناك أسئلة كثيرة.
Well, let's take this one, Tina. So basically, someone is asking, how can we get help in filling the application? The team, the hub team, me and my colleagues here, and we cannot give you direct assistance because we want to maintain fairness. So the only support we are giving is this webinar, is the documents online, is the Q&A responses that we will answer now and also post online. If you want to have assistance from someone, from a friend, from someone who had experience with this type of work, you are of course encouraged to do that, but we cannot do it. However, I feel the person that asked this, like, I know the questions, you can look at them in the first while and you think like I don't understand what is happening here. But what I ask you is just try to look at the instructions to fill and try to answer as much as you can, because sometimes like you don't need to put a perfect answer. We are not looking for perfect answer. We are looking for clear answers that make sense. So even if there are questions that you do not fully understand, try to answer them the best you can. We make a lot of effort to try to understand your answers and applications. So don't make it deter you. If you can find assistance somewhere, that's good. We cannot provide personalized assistance. We can only provide this webinar, the material online, the answers to the Q&A. But I really encourage you to try to do your best, whether on the English version or the Arabic version, and try to address it as much as you can, one at a time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, that's good advice. Our responses are read by the team and processed by the team, so there's no automatic expulsion if you get something wrong, and we will make every effort to follow up with you. So the next question is about solar pumps projects for underground water for domestic and agriculture by asking for the number of our customers. Are you looking for the number of projects or number of beneficiaries? As many of their projects are, our projects are paid through social committees who share the cost of one project, specifically because one project would cost around $20,000 US. And the addition we did to the solar system is by constructing local-made solar holders for the solar panels. Is this meeting your innovation standards?
Generally, based on the question, solar systems that power food or irrigation systems is eligible because it provides renewable energy for agriculture or food production. Now, this is a very important question. When we ask about the number, we ask about number of customers and end users. So here, what we mean by end users is everyone that would benefit from this project. So one project for us is not one end user. It might be one customer or one transaction, one financial transaction. But we are looking is the end users. So how do I look at the end user? For example, if this is a small farm, then the family of the farmer, typically in the region 5, the guess of 5 is a good guess, but of course you can look at your stats, country stats and so on, are benefiting. If it's like group of farms and there are people working in the farm, then they are benefiting from that. So here, the number would not be the one single project. So if you did 100 projects or 10 to 50 projects, but these projects are in farms that have a household of 5 or workers with a certain number, this will be multiplied, getting the number of end users. So the end users in that case, everyone that has benefited clearly from this project. So you are eligible, and please try to make this calculation, mention them, like the questions are not just multiple choice, there is a text. So explain your reasoning. And even if we realize that in the reasoning, like you have made a mistake and the numbers could be higher, we'll consider this reasoning as much as possible.
Okay, Tina, yes, please go ahead.
I just want to add that in this example, Nicola, you want to go ahead? You want to go ahead?
No, I just wanted to flag that this question also mentioned that there will be extraction from underground water. Out of experience, all projects that include solar PV pumping and extraction from underground water will be scrutinized for environmental risk. And it will be a requirement for all organizations that apply that they provide mitigation measures on how they will help smallholder farmers or others make sure they do not overuse water. So this is very critical point. We are not looking for plain vanilla solar PV trader or installer of pumping solution in agriculture. This is very important and it can be deemed as part of the innovation. It can be an innovative way to make sure there is no overusage of water. Another thing that in this question was mentioned as well, that the metallic structure is local made for the holder. So the local made solar holder is not an innovation by itself, but if overall it reduced the cost of the solution to smallholder farmers, making it more affordable, this can be considered as part of the overall scoring of the application. Tina, anything else you wish to add?
Just to say that the innovation here could be in the way it is funded by the social committees. So the way the funding method is also we look at it. It could be also considered as an innovation, or it's part of the business model. But as I said, as Nicola highlighted, in this particular type of product, we scrutinize very much the environmental impact on the underground water and how it's being mitigated. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Tina. So Hannah, Dr. Hossein, Tina, in the interest of time, because we still have 15 minutes and many questions that are not answered. I went through a lot of those questions and many of it were already responded to. So we will try to respond faster. So we will try to accelerate the pace and try to elaborate further on the responses that will be in writing shared on the website. So over to you, Hannah. Thank you.
Okay. So we have a few more questions about specific contexts and whether they're eligible or not. As I mentioned, we cannot directly respond to those in the context of this webinar. So as we said earlier, if you feel like you meet the criteria broadly, then definitely give it a chance and apply. Now we have one question that is specifically about the application form. I'm assuming you mean the solicitation document. Point 5, grant request and matching funds. Somebody would like to know what is the difference between Article A and Article B. Tina, do you have this magically in your head, or would you like to take a minute to look this up?
Yes, I looked it up. I think
Okay.
if I'm not mistaken, because I'm looking at the solicitation document, he is asking, okay, point A is how much investment financing will you need if you were to scale your innovation to tens or hundreds of thousands of end users? And how do you plan to use the investment? And point B is what are your expected sources of funds and or in-kind contribution to meet this target with WE4F support? So the first question is about how much will your total scale-up plan, growth plan cost, okay, in total. Then in point B is how are you planning to fund this cost of your growth? WE4F grant can be one part, and what other sources are you planning to have? This is the difference, if I understood correctly.
Okay, if that was not clear, please, as always, just write us again in the chat and we will come back to you. Somebody else is asking, they're really hoping that we can cover again what the grants can cover. So we mentioned this already, including operations and salary. Anything else that people urgently need to know that you haven't mentioned, Tina, in terms of what the grant can cover?
No, we said it can cover only also equipment up to $5,000. If bigger equipment, it will be on very exceptional basis and also based on the environmental impact. So basically, it's mainly operational cost.
Okay, then we have one question referring to the question we had earlier regarding the type of transactions, I believe. Regarding the applications, there was a question regarding the type of transactions and the part where we should upload documents. Those are unclear.
Sorry, where?
There was a question regarding the type of transaction and the part where we should upload the documents. Those are unclear. So I'm wondering if this
Let
person
me
needs...
address those, Hannah. So,
Sure.
so for those questions, we would invite you to open the Jot form link and try to look out for the questions. One regarding the transactions, as Dr. Hossein has mentioned earlier, this refers to the type of transactions your organization engage in with their clients. Is it on a B2B basis or is it on a B2C basis? Regarding the second question, whenever there is a document that is required for you to upload, you will find a small box underneath the response to your question where you can upload a file. You select the file, you upload it, you confirm that it's been added to the page, and you move on to the next question. If you have any technical difficulties, please feel free to send a question. All questions that are not related to the core of the application, but are only related to technical challenges, we will be more than happy to cater for it within less than 4 days.
Thank you, Nicola. One more question. Somebody's asking if Ghana is eligible to apply.
Within this call, Ghana is not eligible. This is the MENA, the hub. There are other hubs in other parts of the world, and you can check the application if any of the countries you want to know is part of these hubs. But for the MENA hub, unfortunately, it is not.
I think with the one exception, if it's in partnership with a MENA-based organization, correct?
If the innovation will be deployed in the MENA, you are welcome to apply, but we need to see that there is a partner, or like you have evidence that you can deploy this on the ground through collaborations. That also applies, by the way, to any source of innovation. So the innovation is coming from any country, but it will benefit the MENA, the countries of focus, and there is a partner or footprint on the ground already then you are welcome to apply. Like we are not looking at the nationality of the founders or to define who's relevant to the MENA or not. What we care about is that the technology or the innovation or the impact is in MENA or the countries of focus, to be specific.
Thank you, Ahmed. If we request an amount close to the funding ceiling, does it decrease our chances of approval? And if we need to demonstrate the financing capacity for the second part of the funding, is it possible to inquire about obtaining a bank loan after receiving approval?
I think I'll try to answer this very quickly. No, it doesn't decrease your chances of getting accepted, but we don't have to award you the number you requested. So that doesn't, by the way, that has nothing to do on how much you applied. But in all cases, we don't exclude you because you asked for like the maximum, but we don't have to give you what you asked for. So in case you move to the next stages, we will come back to you with a proposal saying, we think we can fund you with this amount. Then it is up to you to accept it or reject it. Again, it is not that if you're a better company, you get a bigger amount of money. No, it's related, of course, it contributes, but it is related to the fact that we need to see that this is needed to achieve certain impact. It's up to you to see how you can match the funds or the spending, but you need to have a clear plan. So the idea is that you will wait for the grant and then go with the grant to try to get a loan or leverage the grant in a loan after you get it. That sounds to me like a bit more complex or not very tangible. So if you are going, and we don't want you to apply specifically for a loan to match the grant. Like we need to see that you have an investment or like need to inject certain money to grow, and you plan to take a loan and the grant will help you. So we don't want the motivation for the loan is to match the grant. Tina, if you wish to add something.
Yes, so indeed, exactly. We will do like an overall analysis but you can get the grant, the loan after you sign with us. But of course, as long as you cannot prove that you have received the loan and received the loan, you cannot get the payment. If the loan is the only matching fund source you are looking at. So we really advise you to give us, I mean, as much assurance as possible that you have secured matching funds. Even if not everything is totally secured, but we need to have a reasonable assurance before signing, and the disbursement will be upon securing the matching. Up to the level. Yani if we pay you, the first payment is 20,000 out of 100, the grant is for 100. I can pay you 20,000 if you can prove me that you have a matching fund of 20,000. Back to you, Ilham. Sorry.
Perfect, thank you. When does the technical support start?
I think it starts, by the way, part of the co-creation, creating your transformation plan, you will see that it qualifies as technical assistance, but it starts immediately once you join the program. So I'm assuming based on the timelines that we see that it will start end of May, beginning like May, June, let's say.
How many clients should we have, or what is the order amount we must have already reached? I think we already answered this, but maybe in a nutshell.
Yes, I will use it also. I will use it also to address other couple of questions, so like we can cover this part. So first of all, we need to see a track record. That track record is defined, please pay attention, by the term end users. End users it includes clients, but it also includes, more importantly, those who benefit from the innovation. So first of all, what we want to see that, so again, end user, for example, a farmer bought the technology and then the family of this small farmer or smallholder is going to benefit from the technology. So that's, for example, qualifies as end users. But there is another question about that I am selling B2B. So I'm selling a wholesaler or a distributor. So I'm giving the distributor the amount of whatever product and the distributor is selling it. So in that case, the distributor is one client, but also if you can account for and have evidence of the numbers or the estimates at this moment, and when you join, you can account for those who bought from this retailer, then those who bought from this retailer are counted, and those who are benefiting from the innovation around them is counted. That doesn't only apply to the specific question, but really it applies to anyone who is selling to an end user, selling through a retailer. So you can look at the number or like the cutoff that we look for in the number of end users, not customers, end users, which is the wider circle around the customers. We basically looked at the technology has reached more than 5,000 end users for applications or products that has a cost of less than $100 per unit. So we expect you, if you are selling compost or smaller products that cost less than 100, to have already served 5,000 end user. But for technologies that are more expensive, so let's say like the solar systems, we take a cutoff of more than $100 per unit. We want to see that you have already served at least 1,000 end users. So this is customers and those benefiting from the product or the technology or the solution around it. I think this addresses it specifically. Please look at the document for more details.
Okay, checking the other questions, I think a lot of them are quite similar, covering similar areas or going too much into specific eligibility, which, as we mentioned at this stage, we can't answer. Just one more question that just came in. Can the matching fund be invested in construction or machinery, or is there any obligation similar to the fund part? I think we've answered this, but Tina, maybe a final word on this.
Yeah, the matching fund can be invested in construction or machinery. But okay, we will have to look also in the environmental and impact of these. But as a principle, as a generic answer, I would say yes, provided the environmental risk is managed.
Yeah, and I think by setting up a production facility, but the money cannot go to the process of putting in the cement and the building itself. So I think that's part of the eligibility. But generally apply, and you can move the funds, right? So you have a matching part, so you can direct the matching part towards something and use this grant towards something else that is easier to account for. Hannah, there is one question I think important to answer. It's a food processor that already claims to be implementing the best sustainability practices. So when it comes to water and energy consumption, that basically in that case, you can apply for OPEX or CAPEX like support to grow your operation. And by growing your operation, this means that we are supporting you to sell food that is produced with less water and less energy. So please apply. And what we just need to see is that the amount that will be that you ask for and your plans is to grow the business, not just business as usual. So if we see you just like business as usual using this grant to cut your bottom line, increase profits, like the scoring will not be in the right direction. We need to see that you're planning to grow.
Perfect, great. Anything else the team would like to cover at this point? Anything I'm missing in the questions that were asked?
There is one in the context of enhancing our data quality for training and AI irrigation optimization model. Is it possible to fund IoT equipment for pilot farmers to collect data, considering that our startup manufactures the IoT devices?
We need the allocation to be directly showing you that within this year you can grow and achieve even more like end users. So if it is just like that you're gonna use this grant to give free units to farmers to improve your data, so in the future you can grow. Please apply, but I don't rightly see the meeting the criteria. The criteria is that we need to see that this thing is going to help you grow in 1 year, making significant growth. Like we are saying, we want to see you already 5,000 end users or like more than 1,000, but you will be only awarded if you can show that you can go to thousands or tens of thousands. So if you somehow can really demonstrate that this will lead to more thousands and tens of thousands of end users in a year, apply.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. With 1 minute to spare, some closing words from Tina, please. And thank you so much to everyone who joined us today, also from my part. And yes, the recordings will be uploaded on the website. We're not going to send them by email, but if you check the W4F website, you can receive them there.
So with that, we can close the session. Thank you very much for your attendance and for your diligent attention. All the answers, the final answers, will be in the Q&A sheet, which will be uploaded on our site in a couple of days. In 2 to 3 days, you can visit our site, we4f.org/MENA dashboard apply, and then you will see the final Q&A with the final answers, and then you can build on them for your application. Please make sure to apply as soon as possible. The next round of selection will be no later than mid-January, so please make sure to apply very soon. And stay tuned. You can always reach out to us, we4f@veritech.org, and then all our updates are also on our site. So thank you very much, and we hope. Yes, you can follow us on our social media channels also. You have them all here, and you will always have interesting stuff to learn. Hannah is making sure it's always very interesting. And thank you. We hope to receive your application and to be working with you, inshallah, this year. And Hannah, if you want to say, anyone wants to add anything?
That's all. I think we can release you, but we look forward to hopefully having all of you in the program soon. Thank you so much.
Inshallah. Thank you, everyone.